In today's video, I'm going to be releasing wood gas from pellets. This is pellet in my hand, and I'll be releasing the wood gas from this, specifically by heating it from below. I have hardwood, light it, put the pellets in a kitchen container, and since I've heated it from below, there'll be plenty of smoke. And I'll feed that smoke into a four-stroke engine, and the end result will be that electricity will be generated from the pellets. This is an old, worn out kitchen pot, and I'm going to start heating it up from right underneath. I'll put firewood there, and here I'll use pellet. I stored it in the cellar, in a completely dry place. If I were to light a fire under the pot down there with firewood, what would definitely happen is that the wood pellet would start to smoke, and after a while, it would probably catch fire. I prevent this by putting an iron plate here. So I have this old antique funnel here. It must have been some really impressive handiwork to make it. And if I were to light a fire underneath it right now, I think what would happen is that the smoke would rise up from here. This smoke would be quite hot, but it's also flammable. If I mix enough oxygen with the smoke, I could actually ignite it. And I actually put an old heavy radiator right here on the ladder. You can see it clearly here. And then I unscrewed the closing cap from the radiator, and on the other side, a 3/4 inch pipe comes out, a galvanized pipe, an old plumbing pipe. So this whole thing is basically made from scrap materials. So this is what needs to be connected here. And if the smoke flows through the radiator, then presumably the radiator will cool it down. Well, I've solved this part, and this should be plug and play here. And it really is plug and play. It fit perfectly, like it was made for this. Well, this is what my little filter looks like when it's completely taken apart. There's a 3/4 inch brass fitting on both ends, solid yellow brass, right here and right here. And my plan is to stuff the inside with this metal scrubber, the kind you usually use for washing dishes. The point is that if any tiny particles happen to get through the radiator or the pipe, hopefully they won't get any further because the filter will catch them. I've installed the filter, and with the help of some wire, just to be sure, I've securely fastened and tied the tin cans together. Here you can see a four-stroke single-cylinder engine, a gasoline engine. You can adjust the angle of the butterfly valve with this. Earlier, I made a video about how you can control this with a stepper motor. Right now, the stepper motor isn't connected. You can see its connector is empty. So for now, the stepper motor is just here to hold it in a certain position. So that's the gas tank, and then the gasoline flows in here nicely. And the reason it's there is because I want to warm up the whole thing with gasoline first. After warming up with gasoline, then we can switch to wood gas. I think it's much easier to start the engine when it's already at operating temperature than when it's cold. So that's why there's this little gasoline section. And you can drain the gasoline here. If I pull off this hose, all the gas comes out of the carburetor. There's a motor here, a brushless motor, a three-phase one. Its rotating part is made up of permanent magnets, and the stationary part is made up of coils. The three phases are led out here. You can see the three blue wires, and two of these blue wires are connected to this transformer. This transformer is able to step up the voltage that this three-phase motor produces since we have alternating voltage here. And I put an LED light source here. This is a 240-volt light source. The important thing here isn't really its power, but just to see if it lights up so we can tell if any energy is being generated. There are also bearings here, which guide and tension the belt nicely. Let's see what else is here. Oh, right, this is also self-starting. So this motor is self-starting as well. The self-starting feature is connected to an inverter here. This is it. The inverter electronics here need to be supplied with 24 volts, and then it outputs the three-phase signal through this, which goes to the motor. So basically, you don't have to pull start this motor anymore. When it was a lawnmower, it had a pull starter, but now you can simply start it as a self-starter. To do that, you need to energize the pull-in coils of these two relays. And there's something else to consider here. This isn't exactly a young engine, so there's quite a bit of blow-by gas. And right here is a crankcase ventilation return. Originally, this hose was also connected to the carburetor, but now there's a replacement carburetor on it, which is manufactured over in Japan. You don't need much, just a tiny bit more gasoline, some good quality 100 octane gas. According to my wife, you should light the fire with a match, but luckily she is not around me right now. Well, this'll definitely do instead of a match. So if everything goes well and it doesn't go out, oh, wait, it's going out. Okay, let's try this again. There's some paper in there too, so don't worry. I made sure to put some in. There's the paper right there. It just doesn't really want to catch fire quite yet. There's already some smoke rising up, as you can clearly see. I already loaded the wood pellets earlier, and it's much better to open this vent here, just like this, and then close this other one over like that. This specific one is closed while that one is left open, and if everything goes well, there will be plenty of smoke here very soon. There's already some starting underneath, so I really hope it catches fire nicely. Now, the smoke is already decreasing, and I thought since there's dry sand in here, I'll sprinkle a little around the edge right here. And the purpose of this sand is probably that if any smoke is produced, it won't escape there, but instead, as much as possible, it will go into this pipe and into this radiator here, and then come out through the radiator and the filter. Well, it's not the best seal, but it's definitely heat resistant, very cheap, and a well known friend. Let me show you the good news. That smoke is coming out here as well, which was the goal. It passes through the filter, then comes out here, and it doesn't go any further because the valve is closed. There's still a little leakage here. There's a bit of smoke leaking there, but I don't think it's a big deal. And if I close this valve, then there's no smoke. But if I open it back up, it smokes quite nicely. And if you take a look right here, well, it is actually quite difficult to determine for sure if smoke is coming out from under the metal sheet or not. The gasket really should seal much better than that, so it could potentially be smoking a whole lot more than what we were seeing here. But it seems like everything is great for now, and the pellets are heating up here. I need to add more wood. There's just a little bit of gasoline in it. I'll start it up to warm it up again. There's likely a bit left, but that helps with the smoky start. There's a little pipe at the bottom of the carburetor, so it's all drained. A few drops are left on the wall, but that doesn't matter. You can see here it's smoking as it draws in air. Time to start it. Great. You can shut it off with this, which is good news. So let's start it again. But it did run for a bit, so that's definitely good news. There's smoke here, as you can see from the smoke there, but earlier, when the engine was running, it wasn't smoking. So let's check it one more time. And I'd also like to try out how many volts the transformer's output gives, the one connected to the LED light source. So let's move on to that. Let's give it one more start. The fire is actually still burning inside. I think most of the pellet has literally turned to dust and ash by now, because I don't see any smoke coming out, or at least not very much at all. Of course, in theory, the carburetor isn't needed at all. You could actually remove this whole thing and just use the valves to set the amount of mixture. I'm not going to try that now, even though I wanted to. To be honest, there was a little accident too. This here is motor oil. That over there is also motor oil. The motor oil came out from this part here where I drilled holes. I've checked before, and this engine has such bad blow by gases, it's awful. At first, I planned and even tried to connect it to the crankcase ventilation, but that's still not enough. Now I'm not sure if it's the blow by gases that made the oil splash out this much. Maybe I should try putting the dipstick back in somehow. When the cover's on this, the dipstick is held in place by the cover, so you can't just stick the dipstick in there because it won't stay put. You need the cover for that, but it's not on right now. But I'm sure the blow-by gases also contributed to pushing out a bit of oil here. And there's a thin film here too. You can see it shining here, and next to it as well. And there's oil on this pipe too. Well, it looks like the weather is still on my side, at least in the sense that I can quickly check what's left in the container. I've got some pliers here, and I'll try to take this off. This was the plug and play part, so let's hope uninstalling it is just as easy as installing it was. Take a look. There's the tar I was talking about. The pipe is completely black, and I think the inside of this is totally black too. Anyway, for now, we're not looking at the tar first, but rather checking out what's hiding in here. Let's look inside the funnel. Wow, there's a massive amount of tar here. You can see it. You see it, right? I hope the camera's focusing. Man, this is brutal. I have to put this down. This is what damages the engine. If it sucks this in, it's game over. But I'm curious, if this dries on like this, it's kind of like paint in the sense that it stops rust from spreading. So it's like a kind of paint. Let's take off this metal plate. Okay, let's hope I can actually manage to get this thing off of here. Come on now. Well, to be honest, I have to say, I expected it to be much worse than this. I thought everything would be nothing more than just dust and ashes by now. But no, if I look at it now and take out one of these little rod I picked up, I think I'll bring it over here. Maybe the camera will focus on it better. It might actually be completely charred and burnt already. There's still a tiny bit of fresh material right here, or at least it looks a lot fresher, but basically everything here is looking pretty wilted. The fire burned down underneath, so the rim must be really hot right now. I'll grab a rag, hold this pipe, then unscrew it and take a look. It really seems like that black gunk got into the radiator too. You can see the inside of the pipe I unscrewed. It's completely black. Here's a flashlight. Let's see if I can shine it inside. The inside of the radiator has also turned all tarry. But the good news is, if you look at the outlet of the filter, check out this pipe. It's not black inside anymore. By the end of the experiment, there wasn't such a strong fire under the container anymore. If there had been, I think there would have been more smoke too. At the end, it was pretty hard to start the engine. Honestly, I'm still kind of shocked by how much of this black tar like stuff built up on this funnel. You saw at the very beginning, the inside was just as rusty as the outside. And you can see some tar like stuff in this one too. The bottom stayed pretty clean, but you can see something like that on the sides. And imagine, in the early 1900s, they even built cars this way. Well, this was the fuel, the wood gas. Then, later during the war, there was a fuel shortage, so they built more cars that ran on wood gas, and even trucks too. And to this day, there are people who take this very seriously. They build very serious structures using tanks, pipes, painting them nicely, and some of them work quite well. Mine was DIY level, and I could only show you the theory. I hope you liked my video. Come back again. I'm looking forward to your comments. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe.